This is a film study examination of a promising Ravens run game, at least in the first half, guided by Derrick Henry and a lot of outside zone, some inside zone slash duo type looks against a Rams defense that I didn't think was very prepared for what we were going to do in terms of a game plan. Credit Todd Monken and the way the Ravens tried to approach this game, shorten the clock, keep a running clock, rely on Derrick Henry, and a proven scheme that he's been effective in for years, for decades at this point, and that's outside zone. The unfortunate thing is when the Ravens have a chance to take control, to get a lead in the second quarter, they go away from it. I'm gonna go through each of these plays individually. I think I've got 12 or 13 queued up. I'm not going to provide summary judgments. I'll let you make some of the evaluations on your own as far as what you're seeing, what the Ravens can execute, and why I think the Rams kind of almost open themselves up to our run game, really exploiting their nickel defense. So first possession, 1st and 10. In fact, first play of the game, a concept that I love, and it's jet dive, meaning Flowers is going in motion from top to bottom for us, and then Henry, the dive or the zone concept opposite of that motion, if you will. Once you get him to the line, I feel like he's going to make the right decision 95, 98% of the time. When we're able to get out on guys, I feel like this gives our offensive line an opportunity to, instead of try to overpower people, move laterally and create some horizontal conflict. 12 personnel, 13 personnel, very effective against the Rams nickel look. I just feel like they presented us such great angles to block them in this case. Now, Linderbaum, I thought, had some opportunities to get to 53, and 53 played a superb game. Very athletic, quick, decisive. Of course, he had the forced fumble on Zay that was very important in the second half. Talking about situations like this, they're distended, meaning this inside linebacker's kind of held by the motion, and perhaps maybe the threat of the boot is holding both of these guys on the backside. I think it's Young and 51 Reader who had the fumble that was negated on the punt return by Wester. It's a poor look, in my opinion, for the Rams. They're just not prepared for what the game plan was for the Ravens. I'm a little harsh on Linderbaum at times here. I feel like, on the zone schemes, he doesn't necessarily know where the ball's going, right? Because Henry could make his read wherever. But I feel like, he's an athletic center. He's undersized. He's got to be a little bit better, in my opinion, at getting out to these linebackers that are super athletic, like number 53 is. Still on the first possession. Obviously, we're scoreless at this point. And this, to me, is the scheme that really buoyed this offense and kind of kept things going, at least in the first half. 13 personnel, an outside zone to the Trey side. So 2 tight ends up here to the top side, 1 to the bottom in Andrews. And what you'll notice when we're running outside zone out of 12 or 13 personnel, 84 is not in the game. As soon as 84 comes in the game, we're running a lot of power, kick stuff with him. And I have to believe that some of these defenses are aware of that type of tendency. Inside linebacker trying to go underneath of Linderbaum on this play. Stanley working out to the front side inside linebacker. So we've got both inside linebackers blocked up. I'll give you the end zone angle for each of these. Henry's on a roll here, man, early. I would love to see more of this, to be honest with you. So what I'm talking about is Andrews or Kolar here, and then Andrews and Likely on the backside. And the Rams, have still not adjusted to the 13 personnel or really anything for a while before they finally got to their base defensive look and made it a little tougher on us to get things blocked. So Falele, I think, does a nice job on this defensive tackle. And then Linderbaum moves directly up to 53 Lamb. And we're talking about here, this defensive tackle kind of moved over on the motion. They shifted the 3 and the 1. And I feel like Falele does a good job of going to get this guy. Linderbaum working up on 53. It is really shocking early to see the Rams' lack of physicality, to be honest with you. I don't know what strategy they expected us to use with Derrick Henry and Cooper Rush back there in the backfield. I feel like Linderbaum could have been a little better at times with this inside linebacker, 53. But look, he doesn't know where Henry's going, Linderbaum. He knows the direction. And so he's just got to, I think, be willing to hit a bunch of singles. This is a single to me, meaning the inside linebacker, 53, picks his side, and you've just got to roll with it if you're Tyler Linderbaum. I think we ran the ball on the first 5 plays of the game. This is another one on that first possession. 12 personnel one more time. Still a nickel front for the Rams and a 2-high structure from a safety alignment pre-snap. And it's a unique play here from the standpoint of Justice Hill is on and Isaiah Likely is leading up to the inside linebacker level. So the only thing I really don't like is it appears as if Ronnie Stanley is pass setting up here on the defensive end. I think it's Verse, and Verse gave us problems, clearly. That may actually be Young, so my apologies for that. I'll give you the end zone angle so you can see what I'm talking about. It's a gain of 5 yards. It's not a draw to me. It's from the standpoint of backfield action, this is not a draw. Ronnie is pass setting. It is Verse, in fact. My apologies. He's very athletic, gave us trouble, likely is assigned to go get 53. In this case, not a home run, a block by us necessarily, but we can't just leave the DN totally unblocked and let him. These guys are super athletic out there. Talking about right here, allowing him to fold down inside. We still get 5 yards out of it. Maybe it was only 4 in this case, but it's a productive run for us. I just feel like it's a weird setup, and the way that Ronnie seemed to pass set doesn't help out the scheme. It doesn't complement the rest of the run scheme at all. Still on the first possession, 1st and 10, Henry back in, and it's 11 personnel. Big gain to the right. It's 11 personnel, so likely is the only tight end on the field down here into the boundary. The Rams once again are in their nickel defense, and on the snap you've got one guy rolling down and the other free safety rolling back, and that's the side we're running to. We're actually running right into the side where they spun this safety down or kind of walked him down into the boundary. Bateman is assigned to go get that safety, and you can see the wall that's kind of been created by Falele and Linderbaum here. Henry basically cuts right off of it. Really subtle, smart cut here by Henry at some point. I'll show you from the end zone angle. Nickel look, like I said, for the Rams against 11 personnel. So, that's typical, to be honest with you, a 4-2 presentation in the box. This is a poor stunt. They are slanting against the grain of the tight end, and post-snap, they'll really create a 3-gap bubble. I mean, I don't know how else to describe this other than this defensive tackle lining up in the A, and he stunts and ends up almost over here in B if you really think about it. So you've got this gap here, which 53 is occupying, and then this gap here, which is what Henry goes to. I just didn't think the Rams had a great game plan for our run game at all. It took them a real long time to adjust. They're very fortunate to not be down 10-3. I know they missed a short field goal, to hit off the right upright. This is the cut by Henry that I'm talking about. On these zone schemes, he does this consistently. I remember seeing this last year, everyone, me personally watching this, I'm like, okay, we're going to hit this here 100 miles an hour. He knows that people are going to fill that gap. That's where the inside linebacker goes. That's where the safety goes. And so he cuts off of Falele's backside. I think it ends up being a 12-yard gain. Henry's just, absolutely gashing him. As an aside, I think Falele did a really nice job here. It's rather easy for us because of the alignment and the stunt that the Rams offer. Untouched. So he's just able to work up to 53, but he does his job up to 53 and then moves up to 51, and his block is the one that Henry cuts off of for another, 5 to 7 yards. Unfortunately, it's like you can't really say good things about certain players, and then it's ruined. The very next play is a 2nd and 6. We go F counter to the top side into the boundary, so Falele is the kick-out block, and Kolar is reading this, so he's bouncing outside. Henry gets 5 yards. He gets close to the first down, the line to gain, that is. And so watch Kolar's feet. He's kind of slow playing this. They are wrong-arming it into the boundary, so basically trying to make it spill. I'm not sure that Bateman stays on this block really much at all. There's 2 of them in this first half where I'd kind of like to see a little bit more effort from him. It goes down as a 5-yard gain that gets negated. It would have created a 3rd and 1. So 12 personnel. Rams are now in their base 3-4, by the way. There's 5 down linemen or 3 down linemen and 2 outside linebackers and then 2 inside linebackers, creating a 3-4 structure, So we're kicking out Verse once again, and he's a load. He'll collision Falele, and I just think Falele, his feet are bad. He's just capped by his feet. He's not able to just keep rolling through people, even at 380 pounds, even on the move from this far away. Verse is a better athlete. Verse is extremely strong. Holds up here at the point of attack. It doesn't really look like a hold from here, but from the replay angle that they showed us, he did grab. I would like to see it not called for us, obviously, so we could get close to a first down, give Derrick Henry a chance to kind of punch that thing in. We settled for a field goal to go up 3-0. Not expecting really much more than that. When Falele's tracks are changed, when something is altered from the original design of the play, this is just what's going to happen. He's not capable of adjusting or adapting. And look, it's an F counter play that I think is, supposed to hit in here, but he's not capable of logging this guy at all. He's not, doesn't have the foot agility nor awareness and recognition to log this guy. And I'm not saying that, he's supposed to, but other offensive linemen log there. Henry takes it one gap wider. And in this case, like I said, we get a hold and have to settle for a field goal. Move forward here. We're on to the third possession. We are up 3-0. This is after that crazy sequence when the Rams miss a field goal. Then we have an interception, and then we have a strip sack by John Jenkins, which was an amazing play. So we've got great field position here. Opportunity to build on the lead. 12 personnel, and likely does nothing on this defensive end. I guess this is a call by Monken. I'm talking about down here to the bottom side. Verse. I guess we're gauging his reaction to see what he's going to do if we run across his face. It's still a good gain by Henry. Don't get me wrong. I would call this, really jet follow. So the jet is going to the side, and so is the run action, as opposed to jet and then the dive opposite of it that we talked about earlier. So I guess we're gauging this guy's reaction to see what he's going to do. But the thing I don't like is, he just folds back inside, and he's the guy that makes first contact along with an inside linebacker. We'll give you the end zone angle. We're talking about Verse here. Like I said, caused a whole lot of problems. I think these four guys kind of do a nice job on this one, handling the two interior D-tackles, because the Rams are walking this guy out, number 6. I'm not even really sure who that is. It really creates a structure inside here, almost a 4-on-2 briefly for us. And I feel like we do a good job of handling this. We just don't get to this guy at all because likely is apparently assigned not to block him. Henry gets still a gain of 5. Like I said, we're on the third possession. So very next play, it's a 2nd and 5. And we're back in 11 personnel. We handle this nickel blitz really well. In addition, man, I think this is a nice job by DeAndre Hopkins going to get the front side inside linebacker. Out motion by Flowers. And then the right tackle, Rosengarten, handles the nickel blitzer. Falele's on the ground again. I mean, it just happens so many times in this game. Fans are not wrong for focusing on it and talking about it, how we're, so committed to a guy who ends up on the ground often, just in this game, just in the first half. Really nice job by Hopkins to give Henry a lane. Unfortunately, we get called for a penalty. This ref is throwing the flag. I know I stop and start the video many times, but the play is, over, and now he's throwing his flag on the backside. Give you the end zones angle so you can see what I'm talking about. Outside zone to our right, the offense is right, the left-hand side of our screen. So I like the play call because we're not running it to a tight end side. Falele and Linderbaum stepping to that side. Both of the guys stunt to the inside on them. Linderbaum just lets his guy go. This is the difference. I know that Linderbaum's a way better athlete. He's a first-round pick. But watch Verse just slap Falele. That's an athletic mismatch. That battle right there was determined really at birth. It works out in our favor, though. They've given us the edge because, again, really great job by Hopkins to get here. And I wish, you really just wish Linderbaum was able to redirect a little bit better, and he wouldn't be in this position. So he ends up blocking in the back outside the box. I guess that's what the call is. Let's rewind it a little bit. When you see that D-tackle 95 stunt across his face, Linderbaum briefly looks to the outside here. Really just wish that he had moved up completely, and then he wouldn't have ended up in this leverage deficit position right here. He probably would have had another foot or two more towards our left-hand side, the sideline, and had a block that would be determined legal. Late call, I think it's an 11-yard gain, negated by, a really weird penalty. As I understand it, if that block occurs in the box, because both of those guys started the play in the box and it would have been totally legal, that's why it goes down as an illegal block above the waist. Really do not like this play call early in the second quarter. I think it's the first or second play of the second quarter. So, Henry would have had time between quarters, between periods to get some rest. I'd like to see him be on the field here. And I don't like the way that we block this, to be honest with you. It's 12 personnel, and the Rams are still in their nickel front. It's a weird look. They've apexed this inside linebacker out to the trips. My apologies. They're actually in their base look. I believe this is an outside linebacker for them. So they've apexed two guys out to Zay Flowers. The only thing I can think is they're trying to make sure that they can defend a bubble. Cooper Rush is, no threat at all to keep the football here. And we're blocking the backside DB or safety who's up playing basically an edge position. Verse stunts around Rosengarten. Again, just an athletic mismatch. We're talking about right here. To me, I would like to see us just take this guy down. So basically, if we're going to give it to Justice Hill, let's fast forward it to where he flips sides. If we're going to give it to Justice Hill, then I would like to see us just take everybody down and then make this guy step down and make the tackle. I feel like our short yardage awareness, our short yardage adjustability maybe, is just not good. There's no read man here, in my opinion, with us stepping out to him. Because if we are reading, let's say we're reading Versus as a keep read, but knowing Versus athleticism, his fast twitch, he'll just redirect and tackle Cooper Rush. Defensive tackle stunting to the inside of Falele. Falele's just trying to take him down. I think he's doing probably the best that he can do there, just taking that guy down. Unfortunately, because Verse wins so quickly, so abruptly with Rosengarten, Hill has to take it directly into that defensive tackle, so it looks bad. I don't like the play call. I wish that we would be a little bit more adjustable there to the front that's presented to us, and just take everybody down, make the strong safety from this far out, make him come all the way down the line and tackle Justice Hill, and basically turn it into a called give by Cooper Rush. I think we're into the fourth possession. I may actually have the possessions wrong here on the next couple of plays that I show you. It's still a 3-3 tie into the second quarter. I believe it's about 8 minutes left, but 12 personnel. I have no idea what's going on here with our right guard. So it's jet dive, meaning Flowers is going in jet motion from left to right for us, and then we're giving it to Henry in the opposite direction. We're creating some horizontal conflict. This looks like a good setup, man. I feel like our deficit, our lack of athleticism really comes into play here in some of these situations down here when we have an opportunity to take the lead. To me, it's a good setup. Rosengarten not able to overtake that defensive tackle. Falele trying to punch him. Great, wonderful, and work up to the second level. Inside linebacker just goes underneath. I just don't know what there is to say here that's positive. You have zero athleticism. I know it's unintended, not his fault. It's just who he is at the NFL level. So base 3-4, the same play, by the way, from the all-22 angle. I know I reversed it, but there's the jet motion by Zay, and then the dive or the zone action against it. I have no idea what's happening here. For my money, besides what happens here with Rosengarten and Falele trying to work up to, I think it's 53. And it's an arc release on the defensive end. I guess that the way we're supposed to block this is the left tackle supposed to step out here. For my money, this would give us an opportunity to just take this straight downhill. They have a second level defender, which I think is Cam Curl, the strong safety. Andrews is working up to the boundary side corner. Let's make this guy make the tackle. That's what we normally do. I just don't feel like we block this well on the front side down into the boundary. And I think that our right guard's lack of athleticism is clearly revealed there. The Rams were there to be had, in my opinion, yesterday. We definitely let them off the hook here late in the second quarter, but globally for the first half, some missed opportunities, obviously. Fifth possession now. I think we're a little bit later. This is the one that's going to be a failed fourth down to finish the second quarter. So it's 12 personnel, and it's trips. I'll give you the all-22 angle in a moment. Trips is off to our left-hand side of the screen. We get this done quick from a Rosengarten standpoint, dealing with this defensive tackle. Falele tries to give a little bit of a punch there to help him out. I think Linderbaum handles his guy. And once again, we cannot get to or deal with 53 whatsoever. He gave our entire offensive line problems. In this case, it happens to be Falele, who's, of course, someone that I've criticized a lot because of the position that he's put in. 53 folds down inside. Still a good gain for Henry. I think we get 5 yards. To me, there's more out there for us if we have a more athletic offensive line that can run some of these concepts. Outside zone was still effective, right? I just feel like there's more there for us, especially when we have a back like Derrick Henry. Same play from the all-22. Like I said, I've reversed the order here a little bit. 12 personnel. and they've walked the OLB out um, over Zay Flowers once again. It's their base 3-4 look. It's too high safety structure. So I feel like to an extent the Rams are kind of opening themselves up to some of this stuff working. Am I saying that I don't think this will work long term? I don't think I can go that far. But if we can't get out to people and settle our feet at all, we're just not good enough at all. And there's even a couple of times in this game where Voorhees combos effectively, in a way different light than that particular play. I know some people don't like me harping on it so much, but that guy's been starting for us for over a year, and we're still at a developmental stage. That was a 5-yard gain, like I said. Here's the very next play, 2nd and 5. Once again, I think this is on our 5th possession. So 13 personnel and Trey Wright. Henry with a really nice lane off of outside zone setup. Base 3-4 structure for the Rams. So this is an OLB up to the top side. And I feel like we just had numbers up here when we put 2 tight ends and a receiver to the same side. Basically what I call tray. It's essentially trips, if you will. Outside zone, and Henry cuts off of Linderbaum's block. I feel like Henry could do this like in his sleep, put his foot in the ground, come downhill. Maybe you're not going to hit a home run on that type of concept, but he's chewing apart their defense out of 12 and 13 personnel under center. And this is, this is coming. This is what disappoints me is when we get down there and we're at the 1, we don't stay with it. We don't return to concepts that work. By the way, I'm going to re-mention something I talked about earlier in the video. We got Likely and Kolar here. We got Andrews. Notice 84 is not on the field. When 84 is on the field, it's gap stuff, power, kick, concepts. When these guys are on the field and it's ace, one back, which is Henry in the backfield, by himself, it's outside zone. Generally, I'm not saying it's 100%, but it's a pretty high percentage. There's no way NFL teams aren't aware of that, and I think that could be one of the things. Remember last week against the Texans, their defensive tackles were stunting across our face. I think there's a tell there with 84 in the game, number one, and then the second part of that is probably our stances. So Linderbaum, nice job here. Check out Voorhees, by the way. Compare it to, maybe it's a different angle, but compare it to Falele. Not that Voorhees is a really great football player for us right now either, but the feet, he's able to do this. He's able to work up to the second level and adjust to the inside linebacker's path. He's got better feet, in my opinion, than Falele. Not that either one of those guys is playing at a really high level. It seems unreal to me that we've had 13 personnel outside zone hit them. Has there been a negative yardage play yet out of 13 personnel outside zone? No, I can't think of one, and I'm certainly not presenting one to you here. 2 more plays, you know what the final one is going to be, and then that'll be the completion of this video. We'll have a lot of stuff about the Ravens defense out tonight. I'm kind of excited about Kyle Hamilton moving up and the safety boost that we're going to get from Gilman and possibly C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So 2nd and 5, 13 personnel. I call this duo-based downhill. It's not really a duo look, if you ask me. This inside linebacker blitzes, and I think it's Noteboom picks him up. Henry initially on a downhill path, and then he'll bounce to the outside here. Zay is trying to go get the safety. Right here, like I said, there's an inside linebacker blitzer that Noteboom picks up, and so Henry just bounces it, just down blocking everything, and giving Henry a chance out in space. He nearly scores here. I know there's 2 or 3 Rams in that area. Again, to mention it for the third time, 84 not on the field, so we're not talking about any kind of gap scheme at all. The Ravens don't trust him in zone schemes, and in my opinion, they don't want to use Kolar, Likely, or Andrews on kickout schemes on power. It seems quite simple or quite obvious to me that opposing NFL defenses have picked up on that tendency. Really nice run by Henry. He is absolutely rolling. 19 carries for 90 yards, something in that range up to the first half. I might have the carries wrong there. I mean, maybe I'm confused with the Lions' first half run stats from last night against the Chiefs. So to me, what bothers me a lot is that when we do get down here, by the way, the next play after that one, the 1st and goal from the 4, which I don't show you here, 84 is on the game, and we run power. Now, Henry gets 3 yards on it, but I'm giving you information that, based on my limited experience and limited knowledge, I can see, I can identify. I'm sure that opposing teams are as well. So when we do run the tush push twice, which I didn't like the second attempt there because the first one wasn't even close, go to Henry on 4th down. I'd like to give Derrick Henry a couple of cracks at it on outside zone. He's great at it. I don't know, who's better than him. Adrian Peterson maybe historically on outside zone. give Henry an opportunity to make these reads and get us in the end zone and take a 10-3 lead. So jumbo 14 personnel. So 2 tight ends up here, Kolar and Andrews. Third tight end is the jumbo aspect of this. It's Bullock, and then there's 84. 84 and Voorhees block the same guy. That's not the scheme. We're not supposed to be both blocking the kick out guy. If it's power, then we're kicking him out, and the backside guard pulls, and we're running Henry in between that gap. That's power. This is not power. This is down for me, and I think 84 should be inside of that kick out block by Voorhees. Totally messed up, in my opinion. I'm very concerned about our inability to have awareness that we have a tendency, we have a tell. So we're going to motion, here, Kolar over to our right-hand side. And so the scheme that I think I see here is basically down block here, and then pull and try to kick out the edge defender, which once again is Jared Verse. And he gave us problems all day. Unfortunately, this is the biggest one because it's a missed opportunity. I would like to see Henry on outside zone a couple of times down here. He's our best player with Lamar out. We got guys losing blocks everywhere, in my opinion. Falele's trying to cross this guy's face, so he ends up falling down once again. Linderbaum trying to step across the D tackle's face. He's kind of getting bowed back a little bit. Bullock not getting any push at all. No one is able to push a Rams defender into the end zone at all. Henry, of course, bounces it behind 84. As an aside, man, this is like the worst camera work that I've ever seen for NFL film. Consistently, you're getting this like slight movement. It looks automated to me. It looks like there's some automation of the movement of the camera. I pause and break the film up for you for obvious reasons if you haven't figured it out yet at this point. I don't know what to tell you. But the NFL film is like, it's poor. It's different for me from what I have seen in the last couple of years. In any case, this is the most disappointing season for the Ravens in a long time. So it makes sense, unfortunately, that on a day where we had a good game plan and we came out and we executed the run game effectively across the first half, across multiple possessions, we get down there and we have a hammer, we have a guy who's executing the same concept repeatedly, and we go out there and we give the defense a tell, information pre-snap of what's probably coming, power, or in this case, down kick, and they take advantage of it. This Ravens team seems to be free-falling, even on a day when they come in with a solid game plan, and the Rams are playing far below their ceiling, if you ask me, for 2025. Disappointing start, obviously, for us at 1-5. Like I said, I'll have more videos out for you later tonight, Monday night, on the Ravens defense. And then working into Tuesday, have some stuff about Kyle Hamilton and the safety group that I think can actually bring a little bit of versatility and consistency to a Ravens defense that really needs it. Appreciate you guys' time.